about. I shall be talking about boosting organic and natural farming through livestock in circulatory bioeconomy. Actually, there can be many facets, and already some of the speakers might have already talked about organic farming, natural farming previously, and later on also we'll be talking about. I'm just centering around the circulatory bioeconomy in context of the organic and natural farming. So, so organic farming and natural farming are against the use of chemical in agriculture. We all know that when we talk of organic farming and natural farming, we are basically talking at the very first thing as a basic thing, just not to use chemicals in agriculture, because we know the adverse effect and the how expensive it is to use chemicals, and the reduced dependence in market purchase input. That is again the second aspect, that you have to reduce our dependence in the market. That will also reduce the cost of production. And when we are talking of market purchase inputs, mostly these are chemicals. In case of natural farming, there is total no to market purchase inputs. Everything have to be used on farm itself. In case of organic farming, still there is some opportunity to buy inputs from market like biofertilizers and bio inputs. And the on-farm reliance to meet requirements of crops and livestock into circulatory by circulating the resources. So we have to circulate the resources on farm itself. Circulatory practices have potential to make organic and natural farming sustainable. This is what is the basic idea of this presentation. If you look at this particular slide, it's a lot of waste we are generating every day, and most of this is not biodegradable. So plastic, for example. So we in organic and natural farming, we have to take note that there is no scope absolutely of this kind of non-recyclable or non-biodegradable things like plastic generating, and which we cannot end up. So what is happening? We are living in environment which is polluted. Our soil is polluted, air is polluted, water and food, everything is polluted. So what is the solution? So, some of the very interesting solutions have been recently being propagated. Say, for example, we consume a lot of rice or wheat, and we consume a lot of water, responsible for water shortages, water table depletion, and release of methane. Can we switch off to some other crops as an alternative? So now millets are being propagated. That is a broader scheme of things which the government have thought, and very good idea has come up in the form of millets, which are being promoted. And in the initiative, of the government of India, globally millets are being promoted. So that these kind of solutions are needed to make our practices, agriculture practices, sustainable. We consume animal source foods, but livestock generate a lot of methane, 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emission that comes from livestock. So what we can do it? Can we reduce the methane production, or can we make use of methane? Some people say now that some tractors are being run and operated through methane use. So these kind of alternatives, creative ideas are required. So how we can reduce water? A lot of, as I already said, that by switching over to millets. So livestock farming also creates use of carbon footprint. How we can reduce that one? So how we can effectively integrate animals without causing harm to environment? And we know that animal production is very important for human well-being and health. So what can be done? So in the circulatory agriculture, we talk of reduce, reuse, recycle, and reorient. This concept is gaining more ground in contrast of the organic farming and natural farming. Our responsibility is to be responsible for environment, and circular bioeconomy is one of the ways. There could be other ways also, but I am talking mostly about the circular bioeconomy, what it is. A circular bioeconomy is an economy powered by nature. It is total nature-based. It is new economic model that emphasizes the use of renewable natural capital and focus on minimizing waste, replacing the wide range of non-renewable fossil-based products currently in use. The aim of the circular economy is to make the most of the material resources available to us by applying the three basic principles: reduce, reuse, and recycle. The life cycle of products is extended, waste is used, and a more efficient and sustainable production model is established over time. Am I audible? Actually, I may be talking like that. Somebody should confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. The essence of this model is that resources are kept in the economy for as long as possible, making it possible to use the waste we generate as raw material for other industries. So, circular economy cell was constituted in Niti Aayog in September 2022 to work in the area of circular economy. 10 sectoral circular economy action plans were finalized the Niti Aayog for implementation by stakeholder ministries departments. So, agriculture is one of the stakeholder ministry where this concept can be used. In contrast to the linear economic principle of production, which is based on the take, make, and dispose, a circular economic principle of production is based on grow, make, use, and restore. That is on material flows through the system based on minimum external inputs, recycling of resources, generating minimum waste, emission, or pollution. Circular economy focuses on using minimal amounts of external inputs. As we say in case of organic farming or natural farming, external inputs have to be very minimum, closing nutrients loop, regenerating soils, and minimizing the impact on the environment. If practiced on a wide scale, circular agriculture can reduce resource requirements in the ecological food and the ecological footprint of agriculture. It can also help ensure a reduction in the land use, chemical fertilizers, and waste, which makes it possible to reduce global carbon dioxide CO2 emissions. Applying circular economy principle to the development of the Indian food system can create annual benefits of 3.9 lakh crore, that is 61 billion US dollar by 2050. You can imagine how much it has impact. This much we can generate if you are following the principles of the circular economy. The circular economy as a model of production and consumption, which involves sharing, leasing, reusing, repairing, refurbishing, and recycling existing materials and products as long as possible. And this way, the life cycle of products is extended. In practice, implies reducing waste to a minimum. When a product reaches the end of its life, its materials are kept within the economy wherever possible, thanks to recycling. This can be productively used again and again, thereby creating further value. This is opposed to the traditional linear economic model, which is based on take, make, consume, and throw away. There is something, we should not produce something to throw away. Everything we are going to make use of. Let us take example of this. Rice straw, should it be burned? It's a very big question, and it talked about a lot in context of the Western UP, Punjab, Haryana, especially in Northern India, and it creates a lot of heated argument, discussion, and the government is spending a lot of money, CRM, crop residue management, especially rice and paddy and wheat straw, how it is being managed. Instead of burning and polluting, several alternative uses of rice straw can be made. First of all, livestock feed. In many families, small scale households, it is used as animal feed. Bioethanol, biochar, biogas, electricity, mushroom, paper, and several other products can be made of it. By pulverizing these residues, several valuable products as shown here, by recycling straw, we can make several products. Instead of burning, when we are burning it, a lot of good nutrients are also being lost. So that is the easiest way farmers find it to burn it, whereas alternative uses can be very effective and can be. Also, when we are talking of livestock, circular agriculture and mixed farming is very closely aligned, because when in a farm, in the Indian system is very good traditionally, that we used to maintain since generations, since a very ancient time. Along with the crops, we are raising some livestock also. Whatever is being generated in the agriculture field, that is being consumed by the animals. And the animals are leaving, say, cow dung and cattle urine, which can go back to the soil to nourish it and to fertilize the soil, and again leading into crop productivity. Somehow in between we lost this track, and the Western countries, they go for specialized farming. Either they grow single crop or they raise single species of livestock for dairy or maybe for meat. Unlike in India, now they are realizing, Western countries are also realizing the benefits of the Indian mixed system of agriculture, where livestock are kept along with the agriculture production. So now in
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, can you go for full screen?
Okay, sorry.
Please, sir.
Yes, no. So
Thank you.
now it's okay. Huh? Sorry. So we can now, if we are integrating animals effectively, and that can be very good for the agriculture system. So now also circulatory agriculture, when how we can make good use of it. Say, for example, in this particular slide, we see a lot of fruit waste is kept there in the mandis and all here and there. Fruit and vegetable waste is there. If you dump this waste before animal, that animal may not eat it. But if we are able to fabricate the machine like this, and we can turn into pellets. So it's a palatability will increase. Animal would like to eat this kind of pellets make out of it. So this particular entrepreneur from Jodhpur, he fabricated this machine, and IVRI under RKI Raftar scheme, Samriddhi scheme, funded him 13 lakh rupees to go further ahead with his model, how waste can be used in animal feed. So this kind of creative ideas are welcome, and government under several initiatives, under several programs is encouraging this kind of creative individuals, this kind of startups who can help how to recirculate the resources. So how waste can be turned into wealth, which can be utilized. Likewise, our ICR Institute, National Institute of Animal Nutrition and Physiology based in Bangalore, they came up with this idea, pineapple peels, how this can be turned into valuable animal feed by turning it into silage. So, and then extra and whatever it is there. So generally it used to go earlier waste. Some people may turn it into fertilizer by making compost and all this kind of thing, mixing with cow dung. But this is before we turn it into cow dung, still one better use we can make as a animal feed, because animal feed is already very in shortage in India. So we can turn into valuable animal feed. Anyway, then it will turn into cow dung. So it is a better way of making use of the waste material. Now take this example of the this oranges. From a single orange, generally we peel it off and then eat and throw away the peels. But so many uses can be made. Peels can be turned into candy. It can be seed can be used in cosmetic. Pharma sector can use. It can be turned into biofuel. And animal feed, of course, the pulp after extracting the juice. So likewise, we have to think in terms of every fruit, how we can make use of it. So the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences has turned out this policy paper, Waste to Wealth, use of food waste as animal feed and beyond. Very good policy paper. We have to make use of not only one single this policy paper, we can develop several policy paper, how waste can be used, how we can improve circulatory practices for making our organic farming and natural farming more sustainable. So we have to minimize food loss and food waste, divert food loss and waste towards livestock and other products. Food waste arises from food processing industry. For example, food processing industry is leaving a lot of waste, which can be turned into an animal feed. So we several ICR institutes are working in this area. So now also together with one of my students, we came up with these tables. What different part of a fruit and vegetable can be turned into very good feed for different species of animals. Pig, rabbits, cow, goat, and sheep. So different, this one, there are several tables. I don't want to go into detail. You can understand grape waste. So winery is using, and the byproduct coming after extracting the juice. So it can be used very good for the ruminants. So likewise, pineapple, mango, pomegranate, every fruit can be turned into. So pea, after peeling the pea, we use the pods inside. So, but what about the peel? So it can be used as for the ruminants. Likewise, tomato and all these kind of things. So we can turn into animal feed. So likewise, this cannery waste. So likewise, now you see, generally we think that this cow dung and the very simplest way of the farmer can earn more out of it. You see this how they have dehydrated the cow dung. So when the moisture has gone out, bad odor will go. So bad odor will go. उसमें दुर्गंध आना बंद हो जाएगा. So it means that if you are keeping in a shopping mall this kind of a cattle dung, cow dung, so anybody will think of his indoor plants to fertilize their plants in an organic way, or in a natural way. We can say that how we can fertilize with the simply on farm material. So by dehydrating it, we can for use in indoor plants as well. So likewise, many startups have now come out how to make the temple, floral waste, the temple floral waste, a lot of these things, and it is just dumped sometime in the rivers, which clogs the river streams and all. So many startups are now making wonderful product out of it. That is also a part of a circulatory practice. We are producing flowers, and flowers are being offered to temples, and then it is thrown away into the rivers. Then people can collect it, can make very good product out of it, and also it can be turned into fertilizer also. So then incense sticks and also many products are being made out of it. So you can see these beautiful products. Then this is there are many these are listed here. These startups are making, and then they are collecting, and then so we can save, clean our rivers also, and then at the same time we can make some product. So rather than turning. So this is the dynamic. This one soil need to be healthy. Healthy soil will give plant growth, healthy plant growth, and the healthy plant will be consumed by human being as well as animals. Then the animal will turn into cow dung and this cattle manure and urine, so which can be turned in very valuable products for many different uses, including nourishing the soils. So now cow dung is a growing big business. You can understand very well. Many people have many manufacturers, many companies have come in where cattle manure, vermi manure is being marketed in a very big way. So many entrepreneurs are there across the country, so which are making this manure. So this is a part of the circulatory practice. So this one again. So several multitude of value-added cow dung products can be made out of it, and more creative products are being produced out of the cattle dung. So now we cannot simply think in terms of the only milk from cows. So cow dung can be sometimes more valuable than the milk. Sometimes people are earned more out of these products than simply milk. So how we can multiply, how we can benefit more from the cow dung products. So along with the milk, so totality we have to see that how much return we can ensure from this employee. So now nationwide research and demonstration on organic and natural farming are going on, and many ICR institutes have been told to devote 20% of their resources into divert resources on the research in this area, because there were no funds earlier to conduct research on organic or natural farming, less than 1%. Now more funds are being given to this area. So I think that more outcome, more research output will be there, so that we can make our natural farming and organic farming more sustainable. Almost all the KVKs are now involved in natural farming demonstrations, and the FLDs at the field at the farmers level. So now this kind of these are also Jivamrit, Bijamrit, and all these things which are being promoted under natural farming system. And almost all the KVKs are also giving demonstration in this area. Slowly, initially, some people may not be convinced with this idea, but in the near future, we'll see that more developments and more significant things are coming out in terms of reducing the cost of production and dependence on the market, because dependence on the market is considered as one of the reasons that the farmers are suffering most of the time losses when they are investing their money in the chemicals and the returns are not that much. So government has thought in terms of making good use of these kind of practices, which can give very good results in due course of time. So now in many ICR institutes, and they are reporting their good practices in natural farming, and others can learn from each other's experiences can be shared to improve our learning in this area. So now the government has taken sincerely this aspect of certificate, diploma, degree, and honors program in natural farming. Somehow I was involved in making this section-wise course curriculum development, which was developed by the broader committee. And then with these, I saw that these two courses are devoted on livestock and natural farming curriculum, cow-based natural farming, 1+1 theory, one theory and one practical, livestock and poultry production in natural farming, 33 credit course, 2+1. This kind of a development are happening. This will result positive results in due course of time, what I believe. When the technical skilled pool of professionals will come up, they will come up with the ideas to work more deeply into natural farming and organic farming field. So you see these kind of our traditional practices where plant material you were used to treat animals. So these need to be researched and experimented and to be developed in valuable. National Innovation Foundation in Ahmedabad is already working several practices, farmers practices to develop these into practices. So products, so which can be commercialized and can be used in organic farming. There are several videos now available which can be seen to learn, because YouTube videos are very popular among the farmers to learn some practices that can be understood. So now government is having even the DST, DVT, they were having the Sutra program wherein cow dung, cattle urine and all these, how they can be turned into valuable product, how they can be used. A lot of research is being supported through DST and DBT by supporting the projects. Their project calls are coming and scientists are submitting proposals in this area, which government is generously funding. This is a welcome initiative by the government of India to promote this indigenous research in these aspects. So several ministries are also National Dairy Development and the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. They're having. You see this picture I want to show, keeping calf together with cow. Now Western countries are doing a lot of research in this area. What is the benefit of keeping calf together with cow, and it boosts the immune system of cow as well as the calf when they live together. This was our age-old traditional practice, but in due course we forgot it. Now when the Western countries are doing a lot of research, they say this is a very good practice. Western people only, they told us, wean away the cow from the very birth, at the time of birth itself. Now they are only researching the benefit of this kind of system. So our traditional practices have a lot of merits. Simply we ignore them. We ignore these traditional practices in between. Now these are being revived. That is a very welcome development which is happening. So now summing up, I again want to emphasize that nothing should go waste. Everything has use. So we should make good use of all these, whatever is generated on farm, we should circulate it, we should utilize it. So what is coming as from the agriculture residues, it is go to animal system. What is animal system is producing? Again, going back to the agriculture system, that is the best way we can make use. So of our resources, we should effectively protect our resources and utilize these resources. This is what I want to say. Thank you very much.